guys, welcome back. If you're new here, my name's Bethany. I'm the girl behind Well Loved Knits. And today I'm just having one of those days where I want to start a new project. Maybe it's because some of my other projects aren't going exactly according to plan, so I feel like I need a fresh start. And I kind of want to learn something new today. So maybe some of you guys will be excited to hear that I want to learn how to crochet. Today is finally the day that I want to stop saying I don't know how to crochet. So we're going to change that. I'm going to do a project that I think will be pretty simple, I hope, and might get rid of some scrap yarn or utilize some scraps that I already have. What inspired me to give crochet a go is this magazine right here. It's made by me, by Rico Design. It's a knitting magazine, it says right here, but actually there were a couple of crochet projects and one really caught my eye and looked really simple. It is this granny square scarf right here. This blue actually reminded me of a scarf that I have already made that I don't actually wear. It's something that I knit. It is this scarf right here. I based it off of something that I saw from We Are Knitters. I think they have a kit that looks kind of like this, but I kind of just did my own thing. It's moss stitch and then a cable down the center. And it's this really nice scarf. I just don't wear it, to be honest, because I have two other chunky scarves, not just like this, in different variations. One's a garter stitch and then another one is like a scrappy scarf. And I wear the scrappy scarf the most out of all three. And this one in particular, it's just not as long as I'd like it to be because I really like to wrap it around my neck. But also the way that the cable is, it's kind of, it folds at the center, which kind of is frustrating. Those are just a couple of reasons why it's not my favorite to wear. So I figured, why not give crochet a try with this yarn, and reuse this so that maybe I can get more use out of the final project, or at the very least, just use something that I already have just in case this project doesn't go well. So that's the idea behind this today's video. I guess the first thing that I need to do is harvest the yarn from this scarf right here, and then I'll be able to get started crocheting. So here's what I got from the scarf. It makes a lot of sense. I must have just used 2 skeins for that scarf. And I harvested most of it. The only thing I couldn't get away with were the tassels. There was just no way I was gonna be able to do that. So I kind of just snipped them off and then unraveled that way. So I think this is a lot of material to work with. I'm not sure it's gonna be as big as the other one, but then again, crochet has a lot of holes in it. There's a lot more room, I think, and it's not as tightly knit. Obviously not knit, but it's not as, the crochet scarf is not as tightly woven as the previous knit scarf. So I'm thinking that maybe the material will go further for this pattern. So I guess the next thing to do, the thing that I'm kind of dreading a little bit, is to learn how to do a granny square, which I know is supposed to be really easy. Isn't that most people's first crochet projects? The only thing that's intimidating here is that this is all in French, so I don't know if I'm going to be following this exact pattern. It's just going to be as an inspiration point. I don't know a lot of French knitting crochet terminology, so I really just bought this book as like a sense of inspiration. I really just wanted to flip through it and see like what kind of patterns were in here, and I really love it. I would really recommend this magazine. So this is the scarf right here, and the instructions are in the back of the magazine. I think it looks really good, but I do think it is a bit longer than what I'm going to be able to achieve with the materials that I have. But let me just take a look really quick. How much is recommended? 300 grams of their super chunky. It's 100 grams equals 90 meters. I think there's 80 meters in Wool in the Gang. So this is Wool in the Gang Cloudy Blue. Crazy Sexy Wool in Cloudy Blue. And I think it's 80 meters per 100 grams, if memory serves correctly. So yeah, they definitely use 3 skeins for that long scarf. I have 2 skeins, probably less. So my scarf isn't gonna be as long. Oh well. It's finally clicking. I watched a couple of videos and I was getting really frustrated because of course I wanted to do a pattern that's not in my native language and also uses terminology and shorthand that I don't understand. But I figure, you know, since it was a granny square scarf, granny squares I think are supposed to be the same. So then when I looked online, I found a tutorial that I really loved and now the chart makes sense. So I think I'm doing it right. I'm following the instructions correctly. So yeah, it's clicking. This is really good. I'm very hopeful. Still very early, but I'm going to finish this granny square and do more. This is fun. Thank you so much to Skillshare for sponsoring this portion of today's video. Skillshare is an online learning community with thousands of courses that are perfect for creators. You can develop new skills, deepen existing passions, or just really embrace your creativity. And if you enjoy my channel or others like mine, you are definitely gonna really appreciate Skillshare. You can find stuff about knitting and crochet, you can find stuff about drawing, if you're interested in video editing or strengthening your personal business, Skillshare is definitely going to have something that will speak to you. One course that recently caught my eye was the Creative Business Plan for Artists, Create a Thriving Business by Jamie Smith. As Well Love Knits continues to grow as a channel and as an Etsy shop, this is something that really spoke to me because I've been more and more interested in creating a plan to further strengthen my vision and keep track of my growth. So I'm really learning a lot and hopefully will be able to take what I've learned and put it into practice in the future. So if you'd like to try out Skillshare for yourself, the first 1,000 of my subscribers to click the link in the description will receive 1 month free trial to start exploring Skillshare today. Thank you so much to Skillshare for supporting this channel, and let's get back into the video. So there's good news and there's bad news. The good news is I used up all the yarn that I had to make 12 granny squares. Look how nice they look. I'm super impressed with how uniform they all are. There are maybe some that are tighter than others. Actually, as I was more confident, ironically, I was working tighter than when I was just starting out. Like, just starting out, they are much larger. Where would one be? I don't know. I can't even tell them apart. So I guess that's a good thing. But here I have 12 to make a scarf. And now I just gotta piece them together. So that gets me to the bad news. The bad news is I used all of my yarn that I had and I don't have enough to kind of like assemble everything. So let's talk through some options that we have here. So here are all my squares. I do have leftover scraps. The thing about the granny squares though is that I really love how uniform it is. So if I start using scrap wool, I don't know if it's gonna look the way I want it to, but maybe we have enough of one color that could just these are the scraps that I have, and I'm just a little disappointed that I didn't have enough in the same color, because it would have really been nice to have everything in blue. So I have two skeins like that are basically a full skein of yarn. I have white wool, and this is beige blonde, I think. So that would allow me to finish all the squares up together and maybe do like a border, I'm thinking, because I was going to make this a 3-tier granny square, and I actually only did 2 because I decided that this was plenty big. I don't really want it to be too massive of a scarf, because then it might just fold like the other one, and I don't know if that would be as cute. So then I would need something to kind of like bring it all together. I do like the fact that you can use multiple colors on granny squares, but I think what I really love is just like the solid color, something about it. But I wouldn't mind too much, I guess, if we had a color dedicated just to the border. I just don't know if it looks that great. And I can't envision it because I've never done it before. Shoot. Oh, this looks cute. Here's the final result. I am really happy with how this scarf turned out. Honestly, I was really nervous as it was going. I was thinking when we were coming to the end that when I had to switch colors, I was just really nervous that it wasn't gonna actually look good, but I'm really happy with it. I think it looks really great. I guess if I had the luxury of planning this, I might have had more of the beige blonde color at the center. I feel like that was one thing that when I got to it and I had to assemble all the squares together, I was kind of regretting that it was just a solid blue. However, I really love it. I wore it out today, and with my camel colored coat, I think it looks really good. And I don't know, I think it looks really cute. I'm really happy with how each of the squares turned out. I think that they're pretty uniform. I mean, you can kind of see here, it's not as uniform as it could be. Maybe that could be a matter of blocking. I just don't really know. But the combination together actually looks really cute, and I'm happy that I was able to utilize something that I already had, something that I wasn't already wearing, and turning it into a piece that will get a lot more wear than it, did before. I think that's great. For my initial impressions doing crochet versus knitting, really fast. I'm actually so shocked at how fast this was. This worked up in a day, an afternoon. And I was really expecting, because I was such a newbie, that it would take me a lot longer, but it didn't, and it looks really good. The outcome, I don't think looks particular. I don't think it really gives away that I'm so new at it. I feel like with knitting, you have a lot of holes, you have, your gauge is off pretty drastically. you miss stitches and everything, and it's really noticeable if you're pretty new. With this crochet, I mean, if I messed up, I can't tell. And I'm pretty sure I probably did. I don't know. Also with granny squares, it's so easy to memorize. I am not kidding. I followed that one video tutorial, and I'll link it in the description. But after I followed that, I didn't even need to go back and watch the video multiple times. I knew the pattern already. I guess granny squares are notorious for being really easy to memorize, but I'm just really surprised because normally I forget things pretty quickly, so I was expecting not to remember this and create 12 different squares by memory. That was just not what I was expecting. Will I do crochet again? Yeah, of course. I'm definitely gonna do crochet again. I think this was a lot of fun, and I'll probably have a crochet project again in the future. It was nice. It was a nice change for me, and I think I just really benefited from having that initial excitement of doing something new, like a new hobby. I really appreciated that. I think this flew off the hook fast because I was so in the zone and excited about learning something new. I would want to create blankets and pillows and maybe like dish towels and things. I could really see my crochet hobby being less everyday wearable projects and more like homeware, you know, rugs, I don't know, things like that, versus with knitting, I think I prefer the look of knitted sweaters versus crochet sweaters. But that's just my initial thoughts, and we don't know what the future might bring. The camera is having a hard time focusing, so I think that means I need to leave you guys for now. So thank you guys so much for watching. Be sure to like this video if you enjoyed it, and maybe even subscribe to stick around, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye!